been Brown runs for $400 million over alleged extortion and defamation, and claims they wanted to use.
Appeared to have all this money. We appeared to be rich. We appeared, you were in the business. It's painful.
Did Blake Lively just sabotage her own career, or did she walk straight into a trap set by one of Hollywood's most underestimated rising stars? For years, she appeared to have it all: a glamorous reputation, a devoted fan base, and enough industry influence to shape entire productions around her preferences. But behind that glossy image lies a far messier story, one that begins with Justin Baldoni, a seemingly affable actor best known for a breakout TV role and a series of charitable endeavors. Nobody expected these two to clash on such a massive scale.
There's an excitement to...
Yet once legal threats emerged and text messages leaked, the ensuing drama snowballed into one of the most shocking scandals Hollywood has witnessed in years. Everything took a drastic turn when Justin's father, Sam Baldoni, declared open season on Blake's credibility. He posted a short, razor-sharp video on social media aimed squarely at dismantling her narrative of victimhood. In that clip, Sam painted Blake as someone twisting facts to injure his son's reputation. Most viewers expected the usual parent defending child scenario, but they got something far more explosive. A fiery statement that ended with the now viral line, "In a world full of Blakes and Ryans, be a Justin." Within hours, it trended across multiple platforms, sending gossip bloggers into a frenzy and making ordinary fans wonder if the beloved actress was harboring secrets that contradicted her wholesome public persona. From that moment on, the feud erupted.
Appeared to have all this money. We appeared to be rich. We appeared,
Rumors long whispered behind the scenes, like Blake rewriting entire scripts or sidestepping creative teams to maintain absolute control, suddenly found eager ears. Sam's post gave these murmurs unexpected weight. People who had worked with Blake began sharing their stories, claiming she bullied coworkers or nudged certain cast members aside to command the spotlight. Fans were shocked. How could the sweet, smiling star from red carpets possibly be a ruthless diva behind closed doors? Meanwhile, Justin stayed quiet, offering only the occasional hint that bigger revelations were on the way. Then came a bombshell that few saw coming. The Hollywood Reporter released a cover cartoon mocking Blake's legal attack on Justin. The illustration depicted a caricature of Blake, wielding a slingshot and firing a phone at Justin, the phone symbolizing her frantic attempt to subpoena his text messages. Under typical circumstances, an A-lister like Blake would be protected by the media machine. Yet, the magazine's willingness to poke fun at her suggested something deeper was amiss. As soon as Blake criticized the cover as outrageously insulting, she was met with skepticism, not sympathy. Industry insiders whispered that the Hollywood Reporter must have seen enough evidence pointing to major inconsistencies in her version of events, emboldening them to publish such a direct jab. Even with the public embarrassment, Blake fought back, decrying what she labeled a sexist portrayal and accusing the media of ignoring her side of the story. She insisted she was simply seeking justice for the harassment and alleged boundary violations she had endured. And that might have worked, if not for the leaked text messages that dropped soon after.
Rival, that's what I know. So I'm sure it's going to be hilarious. And she's playing herself.
Those texts unraveled almost every central claim she had made. One of her biggest accusations was that Justin intruded on her private breastfeeding time in her trailer, painting a picture of him barging in uninvited. But the texts showed the complete opposite. She had told him she was breastfeeding, then welcomed him inside to discuss scripts. If she had distorted that, skeptics asked, what else was she lying about? Simultaneously, news emerged that Justin had been barred from attending his own movie premiere, apparently at Blake's urging. The project was supposed to be a major milestone for him, yet he found himself effectively locked out. Multiple witnesses alleged that Blake told event organizers Justin was a disruptive presence, thus giving them a pretext to keep him away. For an actor to be banned from celebrating his own film is nearly unheard of. Such a move spoke volumes about how far Blake was supposedly willing to go to guard her influence. Suddenly, the actress once labeled a Hollywood sweetheart was starting to look like someone who used her star power to sideline perceived threats.
For Christmas, they send the email and it warns them that we're coming out with a...
All this chaos set the stage for a dramatic shift in public opinion. Whereas Blake once enjoyed near immunity from criticism, the conversation flipped. The same people who championed her as a feminist icon began re-evaluating their stance. Headlines went from praising her style and projects to asking whether she was orchestrating a smear campaign. Forums lit up with discussions about her alleged manipulation, and social media was ablaze with memes referencing her attempts to reinvent the truth. Justin, on the other hand, benefited from a starkly different approach. He rarely clapped back publicly. Instead, he let evidence do the talking. When harmful rumors surfaced, he or his team would drop a few receipts, like the breastfeeding texts, and quietly move on. This calm, factual style resonated with those who were growing weary of overwrought celebrity feuds.
We appeared to have all this money. We appeared to be rich. We appeared, you were in the business.
The fact that Justin's father had lit the fuse didn't hurt either. Sam's unabashed defense of his son came off as genuine and heartfelt, whereas Blake's retorts felt oddly rehearsed. A turning point arrived when the Hollywood Reporter's biting cartoon became a bigger talking point than Blake's own statements. By mocking her so publicly, the magazine signaled that she no longer had the industry's unquestioning support. In Hollywood, that kind of shift is monumental. Industry figures began distancing themselves from her, either through silence or subtle statements. Meanwhile, mainstream outlets picked up on Justin's side of the story, remarking on how he had been treated unfairly and effectively blacklisted from events he himself had shaped. Adding fuel to the fire, whispers circulated about Blake comparing herself to a powerful queen flanked by dragons, apparently referencing her close ties to Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. According to insiders, she believed that these high-profile allies would insulate her from serious backlash, yet both Ryan and Taylor kept conspicuously mum. Neither publicly confirmed or denied the rumors, but their absence from the conversation was deafening. In an era where celebrity friendships are often flaunted for mutual PR advantage, their reticence hinted that they didn't want to be dragged into Blake's unraveling scandal. Fans began to wonder if Blake had simply grown too comfortable wielding her star power. In older interviews, she admitted she liked to contribute more than just acting, sometimes stepping into roles that bordered on directing and producing. At the time, it sounded admirable, an artist taking control of her craft. Now, though, these remarks took on a darker tone. Did she push out collaborators who disagreed with her vision? Did she rewrite scripts primarily to glorify her own character? While ambition itself is no crime, the nature of these revelations made her look more like a controlling figure than a proactive creator. All the while, Justin's stock kept rising. Casting agents and production companies saw how effectively he was handling a crisis that could have ended his career. Offers that might never have come his way before materialized. He started appearing on talk shows, not to trash Blake, but to discuss projects close to his heart. Viewers appreciated his low-key demeanor and willingness to let facts, not accusations, shape the narrative. By refusing to sling mud, he underscored the differences between him and Blake, making her frantic counterattacks appear all the more aggressive.
I think you have to, believe in romance. It is because you say it is, right?
Yeah.
We both love.
One has to imagine how surreal it felt for Blake to watch her star power crash in real time. She once epitomized style and class, a go-to presence on fashion blogs, and an actress with enough sway to attract enviable roles. Now, outlets that previously showered her with praise were dissecting her every misstep. Gossip sites recirculated clips in which she appeared to overshadow or interrupt her co-stars, framing them as subtle examples of her controlling behavior. Though fans had overlooked such moments before, they now fit a broader narrative of narcissism and manipulation. Sam Baldoni's role shouldn't be underestimated here. He didn't merely protect his son, his willingness to go public triggered a domino effect. Hollywood is famously cautious, but if a father is boldly accusing a major star of lying, others might feel safer sharing what they know. Before this, Blake had few public detractors. Now, a series of minor players, extras, assistants, background staff claimed they witnessed scenes of her overreach and intimidation tactics. While some of these accounts were anonymous or unverified, the combined weight made them hard to dismiss. By the time the text messages leaked in full, Blake's attempt to paint Justin as a creep prying into her trailer looked deeply suspect. She had invited him in herself, acknowledging she was nursing but still wanting to rehearse lines. That single revelation toppled the entire scaffolding of her harassment claim.
That it's just so effortless, where meanwhile I'm stepping on the set, I'm
It's one thing to say someone invaded your privacy, it's another to have written proof you extended the invitation. Fans who'd initially flocked to her defense felt betrayed, questioning what else she may have twisted. The the banishment of Justin from his own film premiere became an even bigger black mark. If she had that level of sway, enough to marginalize someone so thoroughly, did it mean others kept quiet out of fear? Hollywood thrives on connections, and an actress of Blake's stature can easily make or break reputations. The unveiling of such extremes made the public think twice about how she might have strong-armed her way to the top. Unsurprisingly, the meltdown didn't end there. Blake's attempts at damage control included statements about being misunderstood and bullied by the industry. Yet none of it stuck. Momentum had shifted, and the more she insisted she was the real victim, the more cynics dug for contradictions. This spiral only seemed to accelerate. Each new day brought more commentary from ex-colleagues who were emboldened by the storm surrounding her, and each explanation she offered collided with documented proof that the situation was far more nuanced. Meanwhile, Justin steadily garnered a wave of public support, with Sam occasionally dropping in to reiterate that all they wanted was the truth. Their refusal to escalate the fight cast the Baldoni family as measured and sincere, exactly what fans craved in a celebrity culture saturated by feigned outrage. As his name trended, studios took note, seeing a potential star whose popularity wasn't based on manufactured hype, but on genuine goodwill. Some have asked if there's a path for Blake to make a comeback. Hollywood loves a redemption story, but it requires humility, an admission of wrongdoing, or at the very least, some accountability. Thus far, she's mostly doubled down, blaming everyone else for the backlash and claiming sexism whenever she's challenged. Without a clear plan to rebuild trust, she faces an uphill battle. Even if the lawsuit ends in her favor, public perception might remain fixed, that she tried to ruin a colleague's career and got caught in her own contradictions. Observers suggest that she may have underestimated social media. In prior decades, controlling the narrative was easier for major stars. Now, one piece of leaked evidence can undercut an entire PR campaign, and once the public sees cracks in a celebrity's image, it becomes very hard to patch them up. If Blake used to operate by silencing critics behind closed doors, that strategy no longer works in a transparent, online-driven environment. Ultimately, the biggest winner in this fiasco seems to be Justin Baldoni. By retaining his composure and letting the facts speak for themselves, he's turned what could have been a devastating career blow into a watershed moment of positive recognition. The contrast between his calm, fact-based approach and Blake's erratic denials has only emphasized his credibility. If Blake sought to bury him professionally, she inadvertently did the opposite, raising his profile to new heights. Even now, the dust hasn't fully settled. Legal proceedings continue, and some details remain sealed. But in the court of public opinion, a verdict appears to have been reached. Blake, once a media darling, stands isolated, while Justin and his father have convinced most onlookers that her accusations were inflated, if not entirely fabricated. The question is whether she can stage the kind of rebrand that Hollywood occasionally grants tarnished stars, one that might let her recast herself as someone who simply made missteps in an industry rife with manipulation. In the end, though, this saga reveals the harsh truth of modern celebrity culture. No one is truly untouchable, not even someone as established as Blake Lively. One miscalculated attempt to discredit a colleague can boomerang in catastrophic ways, especially if that colleague has a supportive family ready to fight back. Whatever her next move, Blake will have to reckon with the fallout of a scandal that's already changed how countless fans, and more importantly, industry insiders, view her. And Justin Baldoni improbably emerges not as the villain she initially painted him to be, but as a rising Hollywood hero whose quiet resolve toppled one of Tinseltown's formerly unassailable stars.